Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Here is your tarot reading. Usually we look at the week ahead. This, as we're approaching the end of the year, I thought I would do as a yearly forecast for 2025. What is coming up for you in the year ahead, Virgo? We're going to start with the oracle card that I pulled. Normally, I just stick with the tarot, but here, as we're looking at a slightly more in-depth reading, I pulled an oracle card for you, and you've got tourmalated quartz, and the message for you is get out of your own way. Sounds quite a stark message, quite a harsh message, but an important and helpful one. This will come about in a process. It's not just saying, right, wake up on Monday and get out of your own way. There is, at the beginning of your reading, the Two of Swords, moon in Gemini, very much the weighing up of options, the ambiguity at times, but also the ambivalence that arises. Should I stay? Should I go? Should I take path A or path B? There may very well be quite big and important questions for you. These questions arising from what is going to make me most happy. That's a positive aspect, because these questions aren't arising from a necessity or desperation, but rather, what do I internally think is most appropriate, most important for me? These questions are likely to appear right at the beginning of the year, the first maybe quarter up to about the halfway point. I wouldn't want to find you, Virgo, still, dare I say, as you Virgos like to do, stuck in your head up until about the midway point onwards. Your latter part of the year certainly looks, I'm not even going to say better than the first part, because the first part feels good and necessary and very much an integrating process. But there's real abundance in your second half of the year. And if you're still caught in this space of should I, shouldn't I, will I, won't I, I'd slightly be rolling my eyes. I'd slightly be frustrated. I'd probably find myself telling you off on occasion. But this kind of duality, this weighing up of things, isn't a bad thing. It's, as the word keeps coming through, is a necessity. The fact that the character within the card wears a blindfold is indicative that we very often have to use our intuition, our gut instincts, what our inner feelings are trying to tell us. This is part of why I feel that get out of your own way is arising. There's an amazing book from Michael A. Singer called The Surrender Experiment. He also wrote The Untethered Soul. And part of his approach to life is just accepting whatever arises. Okay, that's meant for me. I'm going to move with it. Um, and the very important part of that is he kind of gets his own likes and dislikes out of the way. And I feel the reason that I mention this is because that is going to be something that you not necessarily need to do, but would be very conducive and useful to greater happiness, to greater clarity, to greater reassurance. So it's not, this questioning isn't just about what brings me the most pleasure, or necessarily what do I want, but what is going to bring in the most balance. This again is a big word for lots and lots of people. It's a word that came up particularly for Sagittarius and Leo, I think. So if you're crossing over with your ascendant, moon, and rising with some of those other star signs, then this theme of balance is going to be coming up a lot for you in the year ahead. So it's more about, well, how do I bring a greater sense of balance? This is very likely, this questioning, this internal examination, this weighing up of your options is going to lead to the Six of Swords, moving away from troubled water. We've got a very unsurprising, given ironically that you're an air sign, but you have a tendency to get stuck in your head. It's unsurprising that we're seeing a lot of those swords at the beginning, But the choices that you're making based on that Two of Swords energy, leading into that Six of Swords energy. So 2 is the number of duality, 6 is the number of harmony. It's great to see that you will move into that point of balance. You will move into that point of harmony effectively. But it will require at times for you to leave the past behind, move forward and move away, and ultimately let things go. That is what the Six of Swords indicates at times. As much as it might be, well, I want to take everything with me, you perhaps can't. This may require some slightly challenging decisions. And challenging not in the way that, often when we instigate change within our lives, or we need to empower ourselves or move towards greener pastures, it is about leaving familiar shores. This might indicate the leaving of a job, the leaving of a relationship, even the leaving of a country, but leaving behind what is familiar, because you know inherently and instinctively what is the other side is perhaps better suited for you. Very much given again with the Queen of Cups. She looks down at her cup, at the card of self-reflection, inner reflection. And interesting that we've got, in combination with the Six of Swords and the Queen of Cups, these slightly turbulent waters. So these kind of slightly turbulent inner emotional waters. This is why I started with the Oracle card of get out of your own way. Don't necessarily take things personally. Be reflective. Have a gentle curiosity about what might come up internally, emotionally, spiritually. These are really, really great areas for you to explore, as long as you don't then get into a point where it gets very self-critical, or it's so reflective that it just becomes, sorry to be quite so blunt, but navel gazing. Just to kind of reinstate, just to synopsisize that first part, it is much more about the mental and emotional realm. It's not so much about doing, taking risks. It's not, well, taking risk, there's a small caveat to that, because leaving things behind can feel quite risky, so I would support that. But it's not about being reckless, perhaps. And it's not, so we haven't got any wands here, we haven't got any pentacles here, so it's less about doing and the action and the results of that come from doing, but rather integrating, assimilating, and settling things on an internal sense. You may very well find that those points of inner conflict that have been going on for a while will be resolved within 2025. So ultimately, a year of growth, a year of internal harmony, mental harmony. So certainly leaving the year feeling more balanced, more calm, more more restored than going in. But that process perhaps feeling at times challenging. Therefore, if we don't take things personally, if we get out of our own way, if we're just an observer to our experiences, that is likely to hold you in really, really good stead. As I say, that first part might sound a little bit more serious, but I think this is all good. I think this is all of benefit. You're moving in the latter part of your second year into a much more fecund, much more abundant time, particularly as we have the Empress card here, which represents all of those qualities. Really nice to see that in conjunction with the Lovers card here too. The two major arcana, big shifts, big ideas, big things coming through for you in the latter part of the year. And if we just look at the color difference from the first half to the second half, we can see these greys, these blues. Again, nothing too troubling, but it's feeling quite kind of calm, quite quiet, quite introspective. And then we move to this resplendent yellow, which is much more outward, much more shining, much more courageous, much more optimistic. So that process that you're going through at the beginning of the year in terms of finding calmer waters, finding that inner peace, moving away from what isn't serving us, coming up with the decisions and making a decision on those crossroads that we've been at for perhaps quite some time, will bring about a feeling of openness, expansiveness, abundance again within life. The Empress card is ruled by Venus, the most loving of planets, and we've obviously got the Lovers. So love being a very important theme. I would say less to do with doing what we love and more finding someone we love or these connections. The Empress card is the mother card as well. So for those expectant mothers out there, it looks a really, really great year. Or if this theme, this question about pregnancy, motherhood, our own connection with our mother, us as mothers, all of those things coming to the fore, particularly about family, and I would say our own immediate family. So slightly less to do with mum and dad, brother and sister, but more of the family that we create. Not necessarily even just our chosen family, but more about spouses or boyfriends, girlfriends, anything in between. To do with those with whom we are intimate. And that may also include our children or us as parents. That kind of family dynamics seems to be coming through quite strongly and in a really, really nice and positive way, particularly with the Empress and the Lovers here. So if you're looking at themes of fertility, that seems very positively aspected. If you're looking for love, if you've been single for a while, this may very well be your year. That looks very positively aspected. And if you're looking to develop and build upon your relationship, again, that looks great. But that doesn't, not to dangle a carrot, but that doesn't come from nowhere. That comes from this internal introspection and some of these braver choices that are required. To put it bluntly and frankly, a very likely scenario for some Virgos out there is leaving one relationship to find another, or leaving one work to find another, or leaving one environment that doesn't work in order to find another that is. It feels relatively binary this year. It feels quite, you've got your first part of the year and your second part of the year. A lot of the other readings that I have done don't fall quite in that easy category. It's not so discreet, but yours very much is. Anything that you can do this year that allows you to get out of your own way, great. Things like meditation, yoga, anything that promotes stillness can be really, really useful. You may even want to get some tourmalated quartz or tourmalinated. There's an IN in there that I don't normally say. I usually say tourmalated quartz. Hey ho. But some tourmalated quartz may help you in those endeavors as well. That again, my parting words to you, Virgo, is don't take things personally. Both the things you say to yourself, things that other people say to you, or any happenstance that is going on in your life. Cool. So I hope that helps. To get a really, really in-depth reading, I would highly recommend that you check out your sun, moon, and rising sign to get a further idea of what 2025 brings you. Put in the comments below what are your plans, what in there aligns, what you might have found contradictory or surprising. And I shall see you next week. But until then, have an amazing, amazing end of your year and see you very soon. Bye for now.